the synchronized chest to bar pull-ups and see if they can overcome that and put together another strong performance.
Matt DeLugos, the patron saint of the rig shakers.
Oh, yeah.
One of the tallest and biggest athletes out there. He is in the middle. And we are underway. 30 worm thrusters to start, and we're going to see how the Thunder from Down Under handle this thing right off the bat.
You notice on the first rep there, just for a split second, we actually saw them, instead of carrying the worm over into their next rep, they got it to the opposite shoulder, paused, took stock before going down for the next one.
When you are on the worm, you gotta have that communication. That means having a vocal leader.
Absolutely. You need someone that's going to be in charge when things start to hit the fan. They can kind of arrange people accordingly and make sure everyone stays on task. And then you got to bring it for the bike. Remember, everyone has their own bike. You don't want to have one athlete burnt out, stuck on the bike, basically having to pour it in while the other two athletes wait. You want to make sure everyone is pacing accordingly.
Time to beat, belongs to the Minutemen. 9:39.19 seconds. They were able to accomplish all the work. 12-minute time cap in this event. Thunder from Down Under towards the top of your screen. One of the first teams to the pull-up bar. That is slightly swole. Jacob Pfaff in the front for his team. And for more on the trio of Jacob Pfaff, Evan Rogers, and Mark Hutchinson, otherwise known as Slightly Swole, here's Jamie Hagia.
This team is the U.S. Warrior Fitness Team, which is a collective group of soldier athletes. The goal of their whole entire program is to bring together the most competitive group to compete against elite athletes in CrossFit and strongman and strong women. Each athlete has a specific duty in the active duty U.S. Army, and they are stationed in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and they're with the sole focus of training for upcoming competitions like Wodapalooza. This team finished second in the qualifier, and they also have 2 masters competing and another Warrior Fitness team as well.
Thank you, Jamie. Thunder from Down Under, Con Porter, James Newbury, and Matt DeLugos onto the bike here. Travis Mayer, Chandler Smith, and Noah Olson, the team known as the Boys, they are towards the front. They are in second place.
And you can see them communicating with one another, likely talking about where they're at, what their paces are, making sure that they stay relatively close. Nobody's doing any wasted energy.
Rich Froning and company there in the background there. They just finished up their set of 30 synchronized pull-ups. They are towards the back, and they are one of the last teams to get to the bike. So if this holds, it could really shake up the top of the overall standings after day number 1. The boys, they came in second place, just 3 points back of Mayhem, and the Thunder from Down Under were just 6 points back.
It's interesting. They don't look that tired, so maybe just something got out of sync on those chest to bar pull-ups. Maybe they're playing a little conservative. They don't look like they're working particularly harder than the rest of the field on either side of them on the bike. So Rich checking in on Angela, making sure that they're not burned out early. They could be making a push late like JST can Pete.
Rich Froning wearing one of the Whoop straps. Heart rate only at 158 beats per minute.
Just cruising. Amazing how he's able to manage his heart rate on something like an Echo bike that notoriously spikes your heart rate.
Thunder from Down Under, they are moving back to the worm. Next to them, 2.5 men with the number 2. Because there are 2 teams with that name in the field here. 20 synchronized worm thrusters.
Not just 2 in the same field, 2 in this heat, Sean.
The other 2.5 men team at the other end of the floor, as they would be on the far left side of what you're looking at now.
It's impressive how smooth Thunder from Down Under looks on this worm implement. You notice they put DeLugos in front. You know, he's going to have a much different squat cadence because of how tall he is, because of his leg length. But putting him in front, he is one of the stronger athletes. It allows Con and James to basically work off of Matt. Find his pace and work off of that. Because their cadence is going to be faster, they can slow it down. It's easier for them to slow down.
Con Porter on the left, James Newbury's in the middle, and DeLugos on the right, and they are getting to work right now on their 20 synchro chest bar pull-ups, and they are the only team on the rig. About to be joined by the boys, Noah Olson, Travis Mayer, and Chandler Smith. These are your top 3 teams on the screen right now. The Thunder from Down Under in the upper left. They're on the left side of that box. 2.5 men on the right. They sit in 3rd. And then the boys on the bottom right, Noah Olson, Travis Mayer, and Chandler Smith.
The boys just ripped off 2 big chunks there. Made up a ton of ground on the Thunder from Down Under.
They have now moved into 2nd place, and Thunder from Down Under and the boys getting to the bike for the 2nd time as Rich Froning and the Mayhem team are now on the pull-up bar. They're in the background there in these blue shirts behind Chandler Smith. Mayer, Smith, and Olson battling with Con Porter, James Newbury, and Matt DeLugos through the lead here. Time to beat once again, 9:39.19 seconds. These 2 teams coming in 2nd and 3rd place overall in the standings. The boys with 97 points, Thunder from Down Under with 94. And they have plenty of people right now between them and the team that sits atop the overall standings, Mayhem and Paradise. And now Mayhem dropping off in their set of 20 here. So Travis Williams and Team Hercules, they were going back to the bike as well. This is a bit of a surprise, especially in an event that has the worm. Now I know that Luke Parker and Angelo DeCicco may not train that a lot, but
and I think you kind of have to look at the body language here. You see Rich and Angelo, when they drop down, immediately start walking. Luke maybe a little bit behind. Possible that maybe chest to bars aren't his movement, and this is, you know, maybe what's throttling back a little bit.
Thunder from Down Under back to the worm for the 3rd and final time, and now the boys keeping the pressure on them. 10 reps here on the worm. And Thunder from Down Under, they are on their 4th rep here, the set of 10, now 5, so they're about halfway through before the boys get started.
Oh, man. And it's good that Thunder from Down Under got about 4 reps in before the boys started working. The boys actually picked up reps on the chest to bar last time. I would love to see this come down to a 10-calorie all-out race. I mean, you got DeLugos. Remember James Newbury from the games going full send on the assault bike a couple years ago. And Con Porter, tremendous on the machines.
And now the boys and Thunder from Down Under starting their synchro chest to bar at the same time. 10 reps here, then back to the bike. And remember, all 3 athletes have to get through their 10 calories in order for you to be done. Thunder from Down Under and the boys done at the same time. And here goes the sprint back to the bike. Woo! And we'll see who has enough left in the tank here for an all-out effort for 10 calories. An event win on the line between the boys and the Thunder from Down Under. Hand in the air for both teams' judges. Smith is done, DeLugos is done, and Olson is done just ahead, and it looks like the boys will pick up the event win by maybe a second over the Thunder from Down Under, and it came down, Tommy, to that sprint on the bike.
Oh, man, you can see the resulting carnage from that final sprint. I mean, for all of that workout to come down to the final 10 calories, that's just pure grit.
Some other teams finishing up now.
That's Invictus, Josh Alchama.
This is huge for the boys as the number 2.5 men have finished up, because the boys are going to be your overall leaders, because every team that comes across ahead of Mayhem is just more points that Mayhem is surrendering, and they only led by 3 coming into this event. And there they are on their final set of chest to bar pull-ups.
Like I said earlier, you can just see the difference in body language between Chico and Froning and Luke Parker. It looks like Parker's a little bit gassed. He's just fighting an uphill battle.
Team Hercules is in, the trio of Logan Collins, Roy Gamboa, and Travis Williams.
I mean, Thunder from Down Under may not have gotten the event win, and they may not be in the overall lead, but they've certainly picked up enough points now on Mayhem to move up into second. Mayhem, we just saw Hercules and Invictus both come across. You know, we may be looking at Mayhem around 5th.
This will certainly shake up the top of the overall leaderboard, as the top two look to be the boys, followed by the Thunder from Down Under. Now, how far Mayhem is going to fall, that is the question. But it is only day number 1. Still plenty of events left here.
And this is the spelled out, written 2.5 men on your right, just came onto your screen. You saw Victor Longspet for a split second.
We're going to have to find another name for one of these teams. Travis Mayer, Chandler Smith, and Noah Olson. And we were talking about the individual version of this event earlier. Bill Grundler and I were, and he was saying how the chest to bar pull-ups were really not even a factor, just because they were one of the easier movements in this triplet. And with the individuals, they had the barbell, obviously not the worm. But this one did come down to the pull-ups. It made a huge difference.
100%. Anytime you have to account for 2 other athletes, it's more than likely going to mean that you're adjusting your chest to bar pull-up cadence. And for some of these top athletes, it's almost a mindless movement for them typically. So now you got to be a little bit more focused. That's less energy focused towards, you know, breathing, maintaining that energy balance. And instead you're worried about whether or not you're in sync, and then before you know it, that heart rate spikes and things start to go south.
Chandler Smith talking things over with Travis Williams, Roy Gamboa, and Logan Collins as the time cap is now hit. And day 1 of competition for the elite teams and elite individuals is now in the books. And the boys having themselves a good time on day number 1. They win event number 2, and they look to have the overall lead as they go into day 2 of competition.